Hey everybody, this is Renae Lipsmeyer from The Space Between, and you're listening to The Space Between podcast, the show that lets you listen to how the fans feel about the music, the art behind 31 years of the Dave Matthews Band. Stay tuned.
Hey guys, this is Renae from the Space Between podcast, and today we are going to cover night 1 and night 2 of the Camden, New Jersey shows. And so if you've never been to Camden, New Jersey to see the Dave Matthews Band, or for that any band, we are going to step you through what heading to Camden, New Jersey looks like. We're going to take a look at what does the venue look like? What are things around the venue if you wanted to go and bring your family, or say you just wanted some time away for yourself? Are there things to do locally? So welcome to the Space Between podcast. Today we're talking about Camden. So as you saw, Camden, New Jersey is just across the river from Philadelphia, PA. And so I was able to spend some time with my D&B family in Philadelphia, and we just absorbed all of the history and the culture that is there in the town. So if you're looking to head to New Jersey, to Camden, New Jersey, just know that Philadelphia is literally right there. So it's a great place to take a summer vacation or just to spend a long weekend. You can definitely find plenty of things to do in between concerts, and also so many good things to eat, right? Like, I'm such a foodie, and if I go to a city, I want to know, like, what is here? What is, and of course, Philly cheesesteaks were everything that people were talking about in Camden. And so I know a lot of people went to, I think Geno's is one of them. There's the two that sit across the street from each other and kind of rival each other. So there's just a lot of fun things to do near Camden. And so here's a couple of videos I wanted to show you. I had some time to sit near the venue and try to work on the podcast. And again, since we're right on a river, the boats that were parked there, and I'm talking, this is a substantial river. I can't think of the name of it, the river, but it's big enough to have like huge boats, yachts on it. And so it was beautiful. So I got to sit outside the venue. So I'm going to have Andy put in the video right here to show you what Camden looks like right across the river from Philadelphia. Okay, so let's talk about the set list from night 1. So, of course, Camden is historically a 2-night show. And so, again, it gives you lots of time to stop into Philadelphia, check out the history, eat a cheesesteak, do all of the things. And then just head right over to Camden. We stayed in the historic part of Philadelphia, and we were approximately 11 minutes on an Uber car to get to the Freedom Mortgage Pavilion, which is in Camden. So it's just really close to get to. So again, I encourage anyone that's looking for a trip full of history, definitely check out Camden. So they opened up night 1 with Virginia in the Rain, which we have seen a lot this tour. I'm always excited when I get to hear it because I think it's a beautiful song. In the number 2 position, Help Myself, which was a tour debut for 2023. Such a sexy song. I love how they keep incorporating some of their deep tracks into their 2023 tour. If you follow me on social media, you'll see that today I posted one of the most perfect memes that I've ever seen when it comes to the 2023 tour, and how I have said it, many people have said it, 2023 is an album tour, meaning we knew that they were going to push their new album, rightfully so, but we kind of figured there would be a lot more album specific songs, and they are doing a great job of sprinkling that in and really promoting and marketing their album. I think they're doing a great job, but here's what I love about the 2023 tour, the album tour. They have done a great job for all of the new ears, or all of the old ears that are Dave Matthews fans. They're pulling out these deep tracks that we haven't heard in years, and they're really bringing them out enough to where people remember them. And so, yes, we have our diehard fans who, when we hear Help Myself or when we hear Shotgun or Spaceman, we're like, oh my God, yes, of course, we've been chasing that. But think about it from a new listener perspective, or from their standpoint. All of this is new. All of this is new. But what's amazing is the old stuff, the new stuff. It's all really good. Now, of course, I think Dave's voice has changed, but I can also say that I think that, Carter, Stefan, as the band has evolved and gotten older, I think that they've all grown in their talents, right? And so this is what happens when a band is around for this long and they are masters of their trade. They continue to up their game. So yes, their music that is out now, their new album, very good, very solid. But I can say that about their first album. Have they changed? Have they evolved? Yes, of course they have. As humans, as musicians, as everything. But I'm just so happy that we're getting a lot of those deep tracks. Walk Around the Moon, number 41. Always a crowd favorite. P&P into Rapunzel, Looking for a Vein. Old Dirt Hill. Again, so glad that they are playing this, putting it into a rotation to make it kind of normal. But I do challenge you, and I do this every time I talk about Old Dirt Hill, go onto YouTube and look for the Dave and Tim version of this. It was played at Radio City Music Hall. They really slowed down Old Dirt Hill, and for me, I can say my opinion is that I love the slowed down version. I think it makes it sound so completely different. And so if you haven't heard that, it's just a little thing that you can go do if you're not familiar with that song. So I Want You, She's So Heavy. Again, that's a Beatles cover, and I had not heard it until the Dave Matthews Band started playing that. Of course, I knew that some of the band members were Beatles fans, and so I'm totally in love with this song. I think it's a song that the band can really make so very sexy. Now, obviously, this is a completely sexy song on its own. Its lyrics are just sexy, but the way they're able to interpret it and put it out and push it out, of their mouths. Oh my God, it's just. Every time I'm like, oh my God, that's so fucking sexy. So After Everything, recently, So Damn Lucky, Monsters, Grace Is Gone, and then another tour debut, Hunger for the Great Light. Now, here's what I want to say about Hunger for the Great Light. And Karen DeSano, you're going to have to forgive me, but of course, if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, we just started in December, but we somehow have managed to do almost 50 episodes. I am proud of about 25 of those. The other 25, I was just trying to figure out, what the fuck am I doing? Again, I'm a nurse. I have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm chasing my dreams. I'm telling a story that I love. And so thank you for listening to this podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, there are so many episodes that are not available on YouTube. So I encourage you to go to your favorite app, whether that's Apple Music, Spotify, Google, Amazon, however you get your podcast. Or if you're not familiar with podcasts, podcasts are an easy way to pass time because you can just put your earbuds in, press play and go. No one knows you're doing it. So I encourage you to look into our almost 50 episodes. And the reason why I'm talking about that right now is honestly one of my favorite episodes that I love because I love the topic of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. We talk about Hunger for the Great Light. And what we called that episode, I think, was Little Death Delight. Boom. I was like, what did I call it? Little Death Delight is the name of that podcast. It is not available on YouTube. That was before we started recording. So look for that. You are going to discover, or at least get some opinions about what Hunger for the Great Light is about. If you're not familiar, if this was one of the first times you've heard this song, or if you're just not familiar with the lyrics, I encourage you to listen to our podcast. It's one of my most favorite podcasts, only because I love breaking down these songs and hearing what other people think that it's about. And again, we may be getting this all completely wrong, but that's cool. We're having a blast doing it. After Hunger for the Great Light was Spaceman. Again, one of my very favorites. Late in the Evening. Only Takes a Moment, The Stone, Two Step, Seven, and Crush. So Seven and Crush were the encores. Very sexy. Those two together, it's like, damn, okay. I love a sexy ending. So here is where I want to talk about night one. There was a kerfuffle, if I'm saying that right, kerfuffle for night one. I'm going to let one of my good friends and fellow nurses tell us her take on the night one drama. If you're not familiar, get on social media, check out Night One Camden. There's been TikToks and YouTube videos. There's everything out there to kind of tell you what happened. But here is the story that I love. I always like to spin a positive from maybe a negative situation. And so here we go. If you're watching this on YouTube, you will get to see one of my friends telling me her side of the story. If you're listening to this on a podcast, you will just, of course, get to hear it. And so maybe check out the YouTube video later. But here we go. I'm going to let my friend tell her side of the story. Hey guys, this is Renae with the Space Between podcast. I am here in Camden for night two. And after the night one that the internet knows about, everybody's talking about something that happened in the pit. Although, I don't want that to be the spotlight of night one, because really the music was the spotlight of night one. But there were a few things, and I like to stomp out rumors. If I know someone has facts and was there to see something, I want to go straight to them for the source, because that's the kind of person I am. If I need to know something, I'm going to go straight to you to get the story. And so that is what I found, is a couple of friends here that were actually there and can give you their perspective of what happened in the pit last night. So I want to introduce you to Teresa McIntosh. She is all the way from Connecticut, a big fan and a fellow nurse. So shout out to Teresa. I'm going to let her tell her little story about Camden night one in the pit.
Hello everybody, this is Dave Rich from the Eddie Casino Band out in Las Vegas. We're really excited to get this journey going, celebrating our music, our original music, on all platforms. We just released our first single over Labor Day weekend called Eddie Casino. If you're looking for new music, look out for our next single coming out to Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Apple Music. These guys in the band are really excited to get started playing music for you all. If you like Tom Petty, Zach Brown, Jason Mraz, Dave Matthews Band, Rob Thomas, Jimmy Buffett, Pink Floyd, Stapleton, Bare Naked Ladies, Goose, Billy Strings, Sting and the Police, a ton of influences that we bring to the table. Hope you enjoy our music and look forward to seeing you soon live on stage.
Hi everybody, my name is Teresa McIntosh. So just want to give a quick little description of what happened last night. And in a nutshell, Dave saw what could have been a really big altercation starting to take place in the pit last night. There was someone who was just going through the pit and just bumping into people and probably just wasn't really themselves. And, was trying to start an altercation with another, person in the pit. And he literally stopped and made sure that didn't happen. And he took care of his people. And I woke up this morning and just thought to myself, wow, Dave really does care about us. And he took that time out of his show to make sure that we were all taken care of. And I think that's the big takeaway from this whole situation. We show up to all these shows and we wonder if Dave cares. And I don't think we need to ever wonder that ever again.
Okay, and that was my friend Teresa McIntosh, which I got to know very well during the Camden shows. And it just, it's just a reminder. There are so many amazing humans out there. And really, again, I say this all the time, we do it the same. We all have different stories and different paths, but honestly, we're all doing it the same. So thank you, Teresa, so much for just telling me your point of view from the pit. Now, I've had Andy put up a couple of my favorite memes that came out after Camden Night 1. And so if you're watching this on YouTube, you can laugh along with me. He's just going to put memes up around that, of course, I saw on the internet. I think the internet may have broke, after Night 1. So definitely interesting. If you don't know what we're talking about, check out the stories of Night 1. All right, guys, before we move on to the set list for Night 2, I was actually able to capture some really good footage on Night 2. One of the favorite things that I get to watch at a Dave Matthews Band concert is, of course, I'm watching the band. Killer dance moves, killer musicians, but also this podcast is about sharing the perspective of the fan life, right? And so I was able to not only capture some fun videos from the concert, but also some fun that was happening in the audience. So I'm going to put a couple of videos together right here for you to watch. And again, if you're listening to this on podcast, be sure to check it out on our YouTube video, our YouTube channel, which is the Space Between podcast. Okay, so let's talk about Night 2. This show, again, just continued to get better and better. Even with all of the Night 1 kerfuffle, they got a really solid set list. Now, 2 tour debuts, Night 1, 2 tour debuts. That's such a tongue twister. 2 tour debuts, Night 1, 2 tour debuts, Night 2. That's hard to say that really fast. So right out in the beginning, they opened Night 2 with the Dreaming Tree. And this was the first time they had sang Dreaming Tree, which honestly, looking back, I was like, surely they've sang it. I mean, here we've gotten through so many shows in 2023, but this was the first time for Dreaming Tree to be sang in 2023, and it's always such a crowd pleaser. We love to hear that. And then it goes right into Drunken Soldier. Those back to back were so beautiful because, again, we're like deep tracks. We're really feeding we're feeding so many people, not only the diehard fans that want to specifically hear these deep tracks, but again, we're sharing this old deep track music with our new fans too, with the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. So I'm so excited that these old songs are getting put out. Then You Might Die Trying, always great. And matter of fact, I have a video from You Might Die Trying. That is always one of my favorite songs because of the way that the horns really get such recognition in that song, or at least that's what I'm hearing most of the time during that song. Yes, I love when Dave does his scatting in that song. It's always amazing, and it's almost different every single time, and I don't always know what he's saying, but that's the reason it's called scatting. He's doing a great job, and then the horns just are so beautiful. So here's a video of You Might Die Trying from Night 2 in Camden. Okay, so then after we just got through partying with You Might Die Trying, for the fourth time in the 2023 tour, American Baby intro was played. And if you haven't checked out all of my videos, I did do a highlight on American Baby intro just because this is a tricky song. It's one that hasn't been played in a while. Now, in 2023, yes, it's been played 4 times, but there are 2 songs by the Dave Matthews Band that do get confused. You have your American Baby intro, and then you have American Baby. 2 different songs. And so give you something to Google later. Be sure to check those out. Break Free was next. Do You Remember? Funny the Way It Is. Madman's Eyes. The Maker. Always Beautiful. The Only Thing. Say Goodbye. I love Say Goodbye. I know that I've heard it in 2023, but it's always one of those songs that I'm like, oh my God, I haven't heard this. I love it every single time. Sledgehammer. Always a Party. Always a Party. And I've got some footage of that right here, so let's tune in for a little bit of Sledgehammer of Camden Night 2. So after the party that Sledgehammer always is, we go into It Could Happen. So they brought it a little bit. They brought down the house a little bit because Sledgehammer, it's such a party. And then to go into It Could Happen definitely brought the crowd down. But I also like to think it gave the band a little bit of a rest. When you go from such an intense high song into It Could Happen. Of course, Sledgehammer is one of those fun ones too that Dave gets to dance in because he's not playing a guitar, right? And so I love it. So good. And I know a lot of people love when Dave dances. The song that Jane likes, always a favorite for everyone. Water into Wine, Dancing Nancy's, Jimmy Thing into Brick House. I heard someone say that they were going to get t-shirts made that say 56, 56, 56. And I'm like, yes, gorge goals, right? Like we're getting that shirt. What would you say? Ants Marching. Here's what blew me away. And yes, we have a guest, and we're going to talk about that because there was a guest that came out for Jimmy Thing Brick House. What would you say? Ants Marching. We're going to talk about that in just a second because I love a good trombone, and that is what we got. Camden Night 2. Total surprise. But when you're that close to Philadelphia, PA, I mean, there's just good musicians there. There's good musicians everywhere. But when you're in a place of brotherly love, and we needed some fucking brotherly love that night, we brought in a guest, and we'll talk about that here in just a little bit. But Little Thing, so concert is over, right? They're coming back for an encore. And Dave comes out by himself. And I have a little video of what happened. It blew my mind. I hope it blew yours because it was definitely a tour debut. And honestly, I don't think it's been played in a long time. So definitely check this video out of Little Thing. So so beautiful. Definitely got the attention of the fans, got the attention of me. I immediately knew, the first couple of chords that like, oh shit, this is something big. And so of course I recorded it and got that video, and I'm so happy that I got to hear that. That was definitely a first for me, and I know a first for many as well. Then the two other encores, we got a 3-song encore. So Funny How Time Slips Away, and then Stay as the closer. And Stay as the closer, God, I want other words besides saying it was such a party, but Stay is, it's such a crowd pleaser. People really love to sing it. The band enjoys us singing it to them. They almost ask for it by stop singing themselves and wanting the fans. They know we know the words. They know we love this song, and Stay was a great way to close Camden. So let's talk about the guest. I did not have the greatest view, but I was able to capture a few videos of the horn section while Jeff was out. Now, if you're not familiar with Jeff Bradshaw, he was born and raised in Philly. Whether he lives there or not, I don't know, but I'd like to assume so, because one of the things that Dave said when he brought him out was, how can we be this close to Philadelphia without bringing someone in? And so Jeff Bradshaw is who came out on the stage with the Dave Matthews Band. Now, he is an iconic trombone player, one of my favorite horns. The slide of a trombone, I mean, there are times when you can hear a trombone and you're like, holy fuck, it can take over a song. But I'm such a big fan of the horn section in general. So when you add a new instrument into a song, of course, it's going to make it sound completely different, because you've literally added a different layer of sound. And so that's what Jeff was able to do. Now, Jeff is such an accomplished musician. Not only has he, of course, now played with the Dave Matthews Band, which I'm not for sure if this was the first time he'd ever guested in with them before, but he has played alongside some of music's most iconic names: Michael Jackson, Earth, Wind & Fire, Erykah Badu, The Roots, because of course they're from Philadelphia themselves. And so definitely check into Jeff Bradshaw if you're interested in a smooth jazz feel. Definitely check into him. I think that he brought such flavor to the band, and it's always really great just when music greats come together and put on a show for people. So definitely check that out. Night 2 was just amazing. I can't say enough good things about the Camden shows. This was definitely a trip that I can see taking again. And again, part of the reason why I'm touring so heavily, trying to follow this band, is to get the story of what do these venues look like. I'm hoping that this podcast is a resource for fans that also want to be hands-on with their planning. What can they expect? What does the city look like? How hard is it to get a hotel? And then, I think when it comes to set lists and what are the bands going to do at a venue, I think you don't have to worry about that. But the things that fans do have to worry about when they are traveling so heavily, that's what I hope I can be for you guys, is a resource. And so now that we've covered a lot of the Northeast shows, I hope this helps you understand Camden a little bit better, because of, a girl from Arkansas, I'm not super familiar with the Northeast, and of course I did not know that Camden was so close to Philly. That part of the world is just not something that I have ever been a part of, and so I'm so excited that I was able to go to Camden and be part of everything that the Dave Matthews Band is doing in this banner year that they are having. So guys, this is going to wrap it up for the Camden shows. We are officially off the road until Gorge. This is my first Gorge trip. I'm so excited about every little thing that I know is going to happen there. We've got some big plans, so definitely if you are headed to the Gorge this year, stay tuned on social media, because we will be posting our whereabouts. We want to meet the fans. We want to tell your story. Whether this is your first time at the Gorge or your 20th time at the Gorge, whatever the numbers can be, whatever the greatest number can be, I want to hear your story, because the fans want to hear the story of the Dave Matthews Band family. And so, guys, stay tuned. If you're on Facebook, be sure to look us up on the Space Between podcast. It's a group, not a page. So you do have to, answer some questions and all of those things. But we had a lot of spammers going in, and so we had to kind of shut it down. Thanks to Andy Mendoza, who is my amazing show editor. He really is looking out for the show and has such great intentions. So be sure to find us on Facebook. Also on Instagram, it's under the Space Between _POD. So be sure to follow us there, and we will keep you updated with what is next. We've always got events that are online so that we can continue this discussion of the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. So until then, we thank you so much for watching this podcast. If you're listening and you want to watch, definitely be sure to check out our YouTube channel. And if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to check out our podcasts. We thank you so much, guys, and we will see you at the Gorge, but we will see you on the internet before then. So peace, love, and Dave Matthews Band.